the Tea Parties think the czars were communist. They do. They actually think that. They think the czars were communist, or at least that's what they must think. Even though the communists overthrew the czars, but still, the Tea Parties don't know much about history, so they think the czars were a bunch of commies, even though they were overthrown in the communist revolution. But the main point, though, besides the fact that the Tea Parties are completely ignorant of history, it's as if they went to some of the schools I went to, where they didn't really teach anything about that was really that relevant about history. You know that they really didn't teach anything that was really relevant, but because, well, or maybe they did, but it's just that you didn't notice because everybody in class was always goofing off. You can't learn in class because when people were sitting there just goofing off and throwing stuff and blowing bubbles and farting and stinking and all that stuff. And I remember there was one day when I was a freshman in high school in history class. There's this awful chemical smell in class. I know what it was from. There's this chemical smell, and nobody else seemed to notice it. It was so overpowering. And this was pretty early, I think. This is like one of the first things when I started high school. Horrible, horrible chemical smell. And it was just oh man. And I was like gagging, gasping for air. But the thing is, nobody else seemed to notice it. And that's what's so striking about it. But I think maybe one or two people did, but they just laughed about it. They were like, smell that. But they other than that, they didn't seem to be irritated by it, but it was pretty irritating. But everything at that school was irritating. You know that everything about high school was irritating to me, and to most people, in fact. Or you would find it irritating, I know that. But even the stuff they do on Facebook now is irritating. But anyway, yeah. So the czars were overthrown by the communists, but still the Tea Party still insists the czars were communists. But more importantly, they think all the czars, like how in the government there's like a drug czar, an education czar, an environment czar, an economic czar, this, czar, that. They think Obama started all that. They blame the whole thing on Obama. So they think Obama's a communist because he has all these czars. But you know what? It wasn't Obama that started all that stuff. It wasn't Obama. It was not Obama at all. You know who started the czars? You know who started having czars in American government? You know who it was? Well, just guess. It was Ronald Reagan. That's right. Hello, everybody. It's Ronald Reagan, and I'm going to appoint another czar. Just call me Czar Ronnie from now on. Yeah. Now see, Ronald Reagan, didn't he have the first drug czar? And I think the first czars ever to be used in American government was the drug czar. And Ronald Reagan, didn't he have the first one? Now, if you go on the internet here, yes, according to the internet, the drug czar, the office of drug czar has been around since 1988. Actually, though, the title of name drug czar, the phrase, I don't think the position was occupied until 1988, but that was during the Reagan regime. But the title was first created in 1982. So that was also under Reagan. See, that's a Reagan invention. It's from Czar Ronnie, or Czar Ronnie, as you can call him now. See, but according to, you go on Wikipedia here, it says the term drug czar is not to be mistaken for drug lord, which is the exact opposite of a drug czar. I don't know. They seem pretty much the same to me. See, drug czar, drug lord, they're pretty much the same, because the whole war on drugs is propped up drug gangs and drug lords and drug cartels and all that stuff. See, that's what the whole drug war does. But anyway, about the czars. They cracked a room. Just joking. But anyway, now the thing about the czars here, I don't think I heard anything else about a czar in any American government until, after the drug czar, I think the next one I heard about was when Kentucky hired an education czar, a school czar. That's right, Kentucky had a school czar. And with the way Kentucky schools are, I would believe that it has a czar. I would believe it. I would believe that they have a czar, or a dictator, or something, knowing how Kentucky schools are. But that's the story of Ronnie and the czars. Now, right now we're going to check the latest news. That's right. News. The news newt must be around here somewhere. I don't think that's the news newt laying on the floor in a heap there, but I guess he's out gathering the news. Okay, in the United States, a majority says the Iraq War will be judged as a failure. That's right. See, this kind of debunks the myth that the public supported the Iraq War. This is the latest news story. Okay, according to a Gallup poll, more Americans believe history will judge the Iraq War as a failure rather than as a success. These views have varied little over the past few years. That's right. As a matter of fact, as far back as the poll goes, most say it will be judged as a failure. But here's how out of step the Republicans are. Okay, Democratic or lean Democratic, 78% said the war is a mistake, and 20% said the war is not a mistake. Among Republican or lean Republican, 30% say the war was a mistake, and 67% say the war was not a mistake. So I think, who's on Bizarro World? It's certainly not the same. Now, the same people who think that Obama started the czars and that the czars were communists are the same people who think the Iraq War was a success, and who are the same people who think that the Iraq War was not a mistake. So this proves, that some people are still off in upsy-downsy land. See, the war is peace crowd speaks again.